Senior officials in the government were brought before committee to discuss the Stellantis contract. And it turns out the contract came to committee completely redacted.
I have to say, I am honestly shocked to hear that the department put Stellantis ahead of an order of Parliament. The idea that no one even raised the possibility of giving us the full contract is just, to me, unbelievable. And it looks like Stellantis was just, they walked over our request. And this is, it's an outrage, actually. And now we see that Stellantis can't even manage to fix an IT problem and appear here at committee to answer some of the redactions that they obviously told the department to make. So I have to ask, why would the department allow these redactions against the call of an order from this committee to allow us access to these unredacted documents?
Okay, thank you for the question. I will try to be brief and not repetitive, but just to go through a few things before. So I guess the first point, which I made in my opening remark, is that we have a contractual obligation that we signed between Canada and Stellantis. And as much as we want Stellantis to respect all those terms, we stand on more solid ground if Canada also respects all those terms. So there are terms within that contract that we think are very important at play at the moment that we want to make sure that Stellantis fully meets. Secondly, if you just maybe 1 minute, is that we also understand as we work with all these agreements and these companies that there is some commercially confidential information that we need to be able to do due diligence to go ahead and provide some investments. And we don't want to break that trust where essentially in future companies would be less likely and perhaps very constrained in terms of either sharing information that we need to do for due diligence or secondly not even
I'm sorry,
approach
my
us at
time
all.
is very limited.
Sorry.
So, what would be the justification for redacting the bottom of page notations in the amendment on Agreement 1? Like, how is that?
So I'm not sure which page you're
The
talking
bottom
about.
of page notations in Amendment Agreement 1. Can we hold while they look for that? Hold my time while they look for that? Amendment Agreement 1.
Okay. Sorry, so I actually do have an answer to that, which, sorry, I did not know before. So it's a privacy exemption for what's noted in this bottom of those pages.
So if those, like, there were other places where you've actually left in private emails. How is this suddenly now a privacy issue?
Well, we have emails of people that work at Stellantis.
Correct. Yes.
Which through the due diligence with Stellantis and back and forth, they feel comfortable having it out there.
But you're saying this is a privacy issue. Like, so this tiny little thing at the bottom of the corner, which looks like maybe it's, someone's initials. How can that be? This personal information elsewhere has not been redacted. How is this suddenly a necessary redaction? Honestly, that Stellantis is not here, and that you're suggesting that this is all above board privacy, personal privacy, and who knows what is really quite shocking to me. This is an order that we made as a committee. All of us here said we needed these documents, and you're basically supporting Stellantis in redactions that look completely unnecessary.
I mean, just to clarify on that point is, under the agreement that we did sign with Stellantis, we have to consult with Stellantis, as we would for any other company we're in agreement with, to make sure we agree on what we think is commercially confidential.
But you did admit that you didn't even ask them if they would allow the whole contract to be considered.
What we discussed, which we have done successfully in past parliamentary committees, is find a compromise in terms of being able to make sure the committee can review what it needs to do its due diligence.
And yet you took the entire schedule of work fully out. Like, you took the entire schedule of work fully out. It's like, it's a core accountability mechanism. If you want to be transparent, why wouldn't you have asked them to include that?
So there is information in programs of work that actually can tip the hands to competitors in terms of what they're trying to produce.
Every word in that part? Every word in that section? Every word in that section is all completely private. Because that's how you've blacked it out. There's nothing left.
So as I said, in our discussions with Stellantis, that is what, in their assessment, needs to be protected.
So you do understand that redacting that schedule creates kind of the appearance of a deliberate cover-up?
We're in our discussions with Stellantis, we're comfortable with the redactions that they brought to this document. In our assessment, what's being released to this committee, which is supposed to be in camera, is more than would normally be released, and certainly well above what an ATEP request would release.
Mr. Jennings, you're the Deputy Minister. Are you the one responsible for the redactions?
I'm not responsible for the redactions, sir.
So who was responsible for putting the black ink over all of the parts that were redacted? Who's responsible? Who's the one who crossed each line out?
So my team had direct discussions with Stellantis.
Sure, but who's the one that had the Sharpie marker in hand? And
yeah, so Stellantis ultimately had to agree to what they were willing to have in the shared with this committee in closed doors versus what not. As the document that you have in front of you, the condition of that agreement what Stellantis had asked for is that it be shared in closed doors with this committee, and that is why the redactions were as minimal as they were.
okay, the motion from this committee asked for all the documents fully unredacted. So why did we receive redacted documents?
So if you wish, I can go through the reasons why we think it's important to protect some commercially confidential
Okay, but I'm
information.
just going to stop you quickly there because I think you've done that already with previous questions already, and in your opening remarks you already made reference to some of that. But what I am getting at is that there's 9 parliamentarians around this table. We agreed to a motion that called for unredacted documents. Ms. Goudreau did a good job of saying that in previous parliaments, there's been fully unredacted contracts put forward to this committee and possibly other committees, and done so in a manner that they could be viewed fully unredacted. How come we did not receive fully unredacted documents, much like other committees have before?
Okay, so my answer is first of all that we have a contractual obligation. So the contract clearly signs what we can release and not release, and it has to be agreed to with Stellantis. It was the first reason.
Okay, so which line in the contract stipulates that you have to have redacted contracts sent to parliamentarians?
I'll okay.
Like there's nowhere in here that said that you have the right to overstep Parliament. I didn't see that written in here. So where do you think that you have the power to disobey the will of Parliament?
It's clause 16.1, and just to be clear, I'm not trying to disobey the will of Parliament. What I'm trying to do is find a balanced way to make sure that you can do the scrutiny you wish to do and protect what's commercially confidential. And I proposed what was done in previous parliaments at both Indu Committee and Envy Committee, where we shared in closed doors very slightly redacted documents with those committees.
How many people within your department have seen this? Like, how many total people have seen this contract fully unredacted?
So I'll turn to my colleagues who may have a better estimate, but it's a handful. But I'm not sure if Stephanie or Denis would have a better number than that.
So, I mean, in addition to those of us at the table, we would have a team of, what, 2 or 3 people who would probably have
Plus if I, so a little bit more.
maybe a couple more, because on the financial side. So a
How many?
team of
Sorry,
maybe-
I didn't quite hear you because you were turned towards
Yeah,
him.
no, I mean, I'm guessing on the size here, but I would say it's probably a team of between 4 and 6 people, in
Team of
addition to those of us at the
In
table
addition to
here.
you, so about 8 to 10 people. Okay. Mr. Bedard, I have a quick question for you and Ms. Gauthier. Clause 16.1 here, does that supersede Parliament or does Parliament supersede 16.1?
So clause 16 in the contract is a typical confidentiality clause. Those clauses do not override the power of certain bodies, including the courts and Parliament, to compel the production of documents.
Thank you.
Stellantis refused to show in committee, and a majority of the contract is redacted. And I would have to agree, this does blatantly sound like a cover-up. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think down in the comment section below, and have a good one.